Hey everybody, it's Courtney. It's me. Just wanted to talk to the parents that follow my page on Facebook, YouTube, etc. on my platforms. Do you really realize what the schools are doing behind our backs as parents? Have you let that sink in? Have you asked the hard questions? Just like last week, I asked the question, what curriculum is being taught to my 8-year-old daughter? What is the actual material that's being taught to my daughter? Do you know that I couldn't get a direct answer out of the principal? This is happening all over the country. All over. When we send our children to a public school for 8 hours a day, we have no clue what is being taught. Yes, there is a based program or based, what's the word I'm looking for? They have the outlines of what's supposed to be taught, but no teacher has to put in the documents of what they're going to share in their classroom before they share it. I find that as a problem. Even when I mentored with Iredell Statesville school system, I had to, in order for me to do a lesson plan, I had to submit that lesson plan to be approved by our coordinator. So at the end of the day, children are very fragile. Our children are going to believe an educator because they're an educator. Well, if you can't get straight answers, and now they magically want phones out of schools. So if they want phones out of schools, they don't want our children documenting anything that happens behind those closed doors. Are you listening? Are you listening? Did you hear me? They're taking out phones so our children can't get hardcore proof of what happens behind those school doors. And that's sad. Because at the end of the day, us as parents, we trust these teachers and these educators to have our child's best interest at heart. But does our school system, and me speaking for my school system, our superintendent could care less if we're down a bus driver and need bus drivers. He won't come drive a bus. So you really need to think about that. And yes, homeschooling is a plus for some that can afford the yearly fees to be homeschooled and can have the internet. Some families live in rural areas where internet is just not there yet. It's just not there. Internet and cell service, contrary to popular belief, does not run everywhere. So some people are kind of forced to send their children to schools, to these public schools, and entrust them with their education. Now, also, parents, keep in mind, and I know my county, Cleveland, there has been no textbooks for the last 2 years, 3 years. So you cannot ask the school system for a textbook for the current curriculum. There is none. So think about all these children that, are not allowed to take home a computer from school because they can't afford the electronic fees. Or they accidentally broke one the year before and the school won't let them have one, but it's required for them to know what they're supposed to learn. I don't know about anybody else, but me as a taxpayer, I pay enough in taxes for my child not to have to pay 1 penny to have an education. For me to have to pay 1 penny for them to have an education. And all these schools are separating our children. You think they're not, but they are. Like all these special field trips that cost thousands of dollars. That is separating our children. It is putting a divide between the children who have money and the children that can't afford it and families living on week-to-week paycheck. So I highly encourage you, no. Again, it was brought to my attention, well, you don't go to school board meetings. No, I don't. You want to know why I don't go to school board meetings? Because last year, a little old lady went to a school board meeting and got thrown out by our head person in the school board. Going to a school board meeting is not going to solve anything anymore. Doing what I am doing now, getting on a platform, exposing what is going on. Because, see, the older generation thinks that schools still have textbooks. They think that they have the ability for the parents to be able to look at the curriculum. No, it's not. Everything that our children do now is on a computer in Cyberland somewhere. Yes, they may print out a few copies of this and a few copies of that, but you as a parent have no access to that curriculum. None, zero, zilch. And, it's time us as parents start getting on your platforms, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. If you're fed up, let them know we're fed up. But you can't let them know we're fed up in a meeting because they control the narrative in those meetings. They control every bit of the narrative in those meetings. And if they don't like what you're saying, guess what, Toodaloo? You're getting marched out the door by a cop. And we're not allowed free speech in school board meetings anymore. Heck, we're not even allowed freedom of speech in a lot of places anymore because it offends somebody. But, at the end of the day, I'm going to start making these videos a lot more and a lot often because my child and plenty other children have to go through, we entrust the school system, we entrust them with this, we entrust them with that, and they're handing out condoms to our high schoolers. They're handing out contraceptives. And the nurse at the high school last year told me, well, it's none of my business that I handed your daughter a condom. How is it none of my business you handed my daughter a condom? Excuse me? How is it none of my business? That anything related with their sexual orientation, talking about sex, yes. I do remember back when we were in school, we had the sex talk, so to speak. But it's nothing like they do today. It's nothing like the books they hand our children and then take back because we don't get to see those books. They talk about, oh, well, you may be this and you may like this and you may... God made one person. Well, God made two people. He made a male and he made a female. I don't care how hard you try. In 1,000 years, when somebody digs up your body, I don't care what you changed on the outside. Your DNA is going to tell them, oh, that he was a male. Or she was a female. You don't get to, I'm sorry. And though I don't care what you choose, but don't enforce that on our children. Don't indoctrinate our children behind closed doors when us as parents have no clue what's going on. And I've asked the hard questions. I've asked the hard questions when we went through the pandemic with little to no education for my children, and DSS wouldn't hold the school systems accountable. Here's a kicker. DSS told me out of the administrator's mouth that they only hold the parents accountable. They don't hold the school systems accountable for not teaching our children. So I'm gonna that's just a kind of a cap of what I'm gonna be talking about through the 2023, and on. So if this is your content kind of thing, I'm going to be talking all over the spectrum kind of. We're going to be talking about recovery, parents in recovery, children, what, us as parents can do to come together to help our children. And also, if you have or know somebody that's struggling with addiction, please feel free to reach out to know that you're not alone. And if you're having a mental health crisis, please reach out. You're not alone. God loves you, and I love you. Because at the end of the day, I was given a second chance at life. No, am I perfect? Far from it, honey. Far from it. I'm standing here making this video, no teeth. I'm still waiting on my dentures to be done. I've made several mistakes in my life, but that doesn't define me as a person, and God loves me for who I am. And if that's the type of content you want to follow, follow me. Let's join. Let's get this army together. Let's band together for what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Thank you for taking the time today to watch this video. If you can, please like, share, subscribe, da 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 da. But I would greatly appreciate it. On my YouTube, I'm trying to get up to 1,000 followers so I can make content and make better content. Right now, I'm currently making this on my cell phone. So, I hope everybody is having an amazing Sunday evening. This might be uploaded tonight, maybe in the morning, but I hope everybody has a great weekend, a great Sunday night, and I hope everybody starts their Monday off amazingly. And if anybody needs anything, don't hesitate to reach out. If I can't help you myself, I will send you in the direction of somebody that can. I love you, love yourself, and know that you matter.